first question of today is radio check. If anyone can tell me on the chat if everything is alright with the sound, the stream and stuff, because, well, we have to make checks. And also, we have already 30 people on the live stream. Hello to everyone, I hope you stay until the end. Well, this is ERO Season 8 PC Grid Trivial, but you have already got told by the title of the stream and thumbnail and stuff. You say it's very quiet though. I'm going to do a couple of issue fixing stuff. So just a second. Should be better. Tell me if the music is alright stuff. So yeah, this is season 8, the one that will still not have any crossplay, despite the fact by the beta you already all want it. But we are not doing crossplay this season because, as you can see, this is PC Grid Reveal. So, yeah, hello everyone on the live stream. How about getting a record today? 68 is the record. You can invite friends and stuff. I'm gonna do a post on Twitter very quickly. But speaking about this season, as said, no crossplay, but 4 PC tiers. Even though one is not full because the reasoning, because, well, it's around 80 drivers who have signed up for ERO Season 8. But there are still seats on PCF4, so you can sign up after this grid reveal. Tomorrow there should be sign-ups available. So, I know you are waiting for this. I know also my microphone isn't the greatest, but still, I'm trying my best. Because if I touched it with my mouth, it would go as a disaster. And we don't have disasters today. I'm closing the poll. Hello everyone, yet again. So, yeah. You want to know the schedule for today. The schedule for today is going to be the same as ERO Grid Reveal in Season 7. Because it was a great success of record people on livestream being 68. Which is huge, I'm saying. So we have decided to continue this tradition because, well, let's call it a tradition, just like debut drivers race. And we are going to show you grids for this season. I know you don't like waiting, so simply we're starting with the lowest tier, which is PCF4. I'm going to have a quick overview with a couple more words than this grid gets stuck or something like this. Then we'll have a video made by Zik, just in case you're wondering, everything's just about clean or actually clean. No copyright issues should be there. If there's any, just blame out on package. And then we are going with PCF3, PCF2, PCF1. You can use this as a podcast episode, which is basically me sitting here and talking for about an hour about ERO drivers competing for virtual racing or something like this. Anyway, starting right now, because it's already 3 minutes past. This is the template we are using, and names will appear when I wish. So, as you can see, 10 teams: Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Alpine, Alfa Tauri, Aston Martin, Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas. And what we need to decide or to show is the grids we'll be racing in. Starting with PCF4, let's make some nice sort of transition just about now. There we go. This is the grid for PCF4, already revealing stuff. And as you can see, there are still a couple of seats. Mid-season sign-ups will be open tomorrow as planned, or maybe a bit later, but we'll see. Speaking about the grid today, anyway, most of these drivers are debut drivers. Like, who I can call as a non-debut driver are Ali, Dervaric, Konopa, Jardim, and Ferraz, and that's about it. The rest is debut drivers. So maybe going for the Haas because it goes the same as 2021 Constructors Championship. We'll start with Haas, 2 German debut drivers, also friends, Benny Besic and Hauke Melling, and they will be racing in the Haas this season. Alfa Romeo has only signed 1 driver, and his name is Matthew Curtis, who will be racing in this team. Williams have hired David Booker and Raymond Gertzma. Also correct me if my pronunciation is terribly wrong on the chat, because you know I don't know how to pronounce many of the names. At least I know how to pronounce Aston Martin, where Morten Schulze will race this season, the brother of Linus, the PSF4 champion. This is PC, by the way. Linus won the championship on PlayStation. AlphaTauri, or actually Red Bull, has decided to have no academy yet this season. But in Alpine, we're having kind of a surprise because Samuel Trevorov will not race with his teammate Robinson. Also, I spoiled where Robinson will race in. But they will not race together. Trevorov in F4. His teammate is going to be Maratip Ali, who had actually one race in Season 5, and that's all about it. In McLaren, we finally have not a debut driver, Rafael Ferraz, who was racing in ERO since Season 4, like every single season. Not every race though, but he still got that podium in Season 5 on PlayStation and in Season 6 in Brazil. If you're still here, Rafael, then tell me which players you got, because as far as I'm aware, it was a victory in Brazil in Season 6 PCF2. His teammate is going to be his friend Rodrigo Martic, who will be racing alongside him in the McLaren. Then we've got Ferraris of the driver who has got first appearance last season. His name is Majder Varic, and the debut driver of Maciej Kobierzewski, who is going to race alongside him. About the Red Bull, Jose Jardim raced in PCF3 last season alongside him. Not a debut driver because he raced on Xbox in Season 5 when Xbox actually existed. Still got cancelled after half the season. Karol Konopa is racing in Red Bull as well. And in Mercedes, we're having Claudio Herbert and Bjorn Rasmussen. And as I said in the beginning, well, there is not too many things to talk about this grid, I'll be honest, because most of them are debut drivers. Also, reacting to your chat, well, when does PCF4 drive? Because this is completely new tier, I'm going to update the calendar images pretty soon. But PCF4 is going to race the same time as PCF3, so we have to get a streamer for this tier. If anyone is volunteering, then just hit me on a DM or something like this. Speaking about this grid, not too much to say. All of them are, half of them at least, are debut drivers. Looking for a championship fight between Ferraz, Jardim, Dervaric maybe. Maybe Besic because he also did decent with Trevorov. And that would be about it. We still have to fill this grid, so something has to be done. Anyway, welcome to all of the drivers who will race in PCF4 this season, and I hope they will make their steps up in the next seasons. Well, basically, you won't be able to make a step into PCF3 next season because there will be crossplay. No crossplay this season though, so we're staying with PCF4. That's about it, I guess, about PCF4, so maybe if I just told you to subscribe to our channel, because we are very close to 1,000 subscribers, and there is literally 55 of you watching right now, and I guess many of you aren't subscribed. So if you can subscribe and leave a like and show the algorithm, actually help it to decide which league is the best one, then you know what to do. Now, stay until the end because this is a long podcast, but this podcast is going to be interrupted with Adam Leipich already revealing all of the grids for this season. Season 8, I hope it will be the best one because 8 is a symbol of infinity or something like this. But for now, I invite you to Adam Leipich's montage. Well, I watched it, it's very fine, you can watch as well.
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, nah, likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a f***ing name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain. showing off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic.
If I was honest with you, you can say anything you want. I love that lappage moment with Verstappen, you know? He still is a great driver. I mean, even with questionable decisions at times. I'm not a Hamilton fan, so don't blame me. Blame Adam Lapage for any issues. Uh, anyway, I'm telling you now, not to leave the stream and to subscribe to the channel. And the reason for that is called, well, I just wanna say we're doing a podcast today. Like, you can just watch the images or stuff. Just also turning on the music and we can continue because PCF4 is now done. And we're opening up PCF3. Well, all of this has been already reviewed, wasn't it? Anyway, speaking about PCF3, starting with results because we have results in this tier. Philip Kirall and George Artonopoulos are both late sign-ups, so they will be racing as a reserve in PCF3. They have the pace for it. But starting from Haas, the 10th team of last year's Constructors' Championship, both debut drivers, Dominik Stewart and Dawid Dzikelewski, who was the star of the thumbnail of actually a speech about race day on Instagram. And he was in a Ferrari suit, so well done for him. Anyway, he's done kind of decent back then. Aston Martins were the only drivers not to finish though. That was a very interesting one, even with the fact that everyone was spread from each other by like 50 seconds. Continuing, Alfa Romeo has two drivers who already raced in Season 7. These names are Sharon Kuhuk and Daniel Bakalik, who will race this time in Alfa Romeo. Kuhuk last time was in Haas. He got like 30 points last season. Bakalik was actually decent, fighting for around 4th place in the championship. And he did just that. No chance for a title fight though, which was between Alfa Romeos and Michelin. Then we've got two debut drivers of Alexander Kozio, the first ever man from, and I have to be careful now, Niger. I hope I pronounced this country's name properly. And Bartłomiej Sienko. Well, for the first time we've got a man from Niger, which is a very cool country by the way. And we've got a pole racing in Williams this season. Also, I'm not even trying to be like, you know what I mean. Continuing, Aston Martin, Marek Ivanek, Mackenzie Khan, both debut drivers, and Marek uses line only. AlphaTauri also has a driver who uses line only, and his name is Janet Łowila, who raced last season, got a race win there, podium there, and he was actually fighting for the top 10. We know Mr. Luduva. And Jonas Toapti will be racing alongside him in AlphaTauri. Alpine has Ashley Robinson and Konrad Chapla, both actually not a debut driver, Konrad is, but Ashley is a debut driver. Did kind of decent fighting for around the 10th place in or even 7th in David Drivers race. How about Konrad Czapla? 2 DNFs in Season 5, that's about it. He's still a returning driver though. Then we've got McLaren of 2 commentators, former commentators of last season. David Hoy was commentating PCF3, now he's going to race in it. And Mitchell Snape is going to, who was a commentator PCF2, is going to stay in F3. Mitchell Snape was the man who actually got a couple of points finishes here and there, but he only finished once on the podium last season. How about David Hoy? His season wasn't that great last time out. How about Ferraris? Because we've got 2 Polish drivers of Maciej Turek and Aleksander Kuptłowski who have requested to be teammates. So they will be teammates, as Maciej is a proud Patreon of VRO, so he gets this permission to pick first ahead of loads of drivers. Same for helpers though. Red Bull has 2 debut drivers of George Mosouros and Pim Kroenewagen. I hope that I pronounced this name properly still. And Mercedes have Jordan Kent and Michael Mischler, and these 2 I believe are going to fight for the championship, and we are going to see 2016 all over again. Well, this is what I at least supposed considering last season. Also, don't leave the stream, literally. I tell you, this is a podcast. Speaking of PCF3, do I have any championship predictions? Kent, Mischler, Bakalik, thanks. This is top 3, maybe Tuovila with Turek. That's all about championship fight. Also, there are a couple of new drivers, debut drivers, and we're going to see loads of potential in this tier. When it is going to race, this is now the question. It is going to be raced in Fridays, 7 PM UK, the same as PCF4. We actually had no other option for PCF4 to put in, so there we have it. This street looks interesting though. I can see some tensions going over it. I hope the roles are already being given by someone, but still, it's okay. Speaking about PCF3, we'll get to it, Restart, we'll get to it. But speaking about it, very interesting grid. The tier that has all assists are out because we have somewhat changed the rules of where is Crocs? We'll see. Anyway, because I already see loads of questions, I can already say everyone who has filled their sign up properly is in, regardless if he is a reserve or a full-time driver. But speaking about this grid, very fine, very cool, and well, we're going to move to PCF2 now. Very interesting though. So back to the template, putting PCF2 up and showing it. Very cool photo of inverted 2021 on the background, where actually Verstappen, Perez that is, has been overtaken by Hamilton and he didn't even struggle. But speaking about PCF2, well, there is an interesting thing. I'm going to share you the recruitment standings after PSF grid reveal, because, well, everyone can have a look what we have written, all of the stuff we have done and so on. But speaking about, but speaking about PCF2 lineup, starting with reserves, Elliot Sorensen has theoretically qualified for PCF3 only. But knowing he has got 3rd place last season on PCF2, I have decided with administrators as well that he, apparently Luke Mills, that he deserves to go to PCF2 because, well, that's a will issue he has. So this is the problem. He only has to be reserved though. Ludwig Hansson is going to be a late sign up, or actually is a late sign up, and he's going to race as a reserve as well. So these are 2 reserves, and continuing with the full-time drivers, Haas have Milan Derksen and Hubert Hrinus. Milan Derksen has not raced, but his brother did race, Lucas. We'll see where he is soon. But Milan will be racing in Haas alongside Hubert Hrinus, who is technically not a debut driver because he raced in Season 4, Season 5. In Season 7 he could also race, but unreported absences walked in. So that's all about I have to say about this grid. Alfa Romeo is the Polish power because Alfa Romeo Orlen. So we have Orlen team because it's Polish. Maciej Kopaczewski and Kasper Dziemianczuk. Maciej Kopaczewski raced in around top 10 places in Season 7 in PCF3, and Dziemianczuk is a debut driver, so that's all about I have to say. Williams have Dino Puszkadia and Martin Rusnak. Dino is going to defend the championship even though he has been given back to the Mercedes Academy. His teammate though raced in PCF3 and won the final race in Monza last season. Of course it is. Where is my podium from Singapore? Well, speaking about your podium, it's in the standings, and that's all I have to say about it. About Martin Rosnak, he's won a race in PCF3, Monza that was, and he looks promising. Racing with line only, he might be a reserve for PCF1 at times. And is Dino going to be double PCF2 champion? We'll see, because he's definitely a championship contender. How about Aston Martins? Cody Reed, Robert Knable. Robert Knable raced in PCF1 as a full-time driver, finished last couple of 3 times, moved to PCF2. Not too many points. How about Cody? Also not too many points, but it's more into bad luck rather than skill issues. And I'll be honest with you, he's actually got carnaged in Baku, for example, when he was going for a decent result. How about AlphaTauris? AlphaTauris have debut driver of IA Modi, very quick in the signups. Not quick for PCF1 though. And Jakub Oszczyński has finished 4th in last season's PCF2. So he's definitely going for the championship now. But he's going to have a competition of Lukas McGinty and Borna Swirzniak in Alpine. Lukas has raced for half of last season. He did a couple of podium results, but had to leave mid-season. Borna is a debut driver, even though he signed up for last seasons as a reserve, PCF2, but unfortunately he never raced. So that's all about it. Also, why do I receive so many pings on Discord? McLaren's, well, this is one of the most promising lineups, promising teams for this season. Maybe the Constructors' Championship, they will as a possibility, because Darius Bodian and Furkan Imchas this time are going to race together in a single team, and they both showed in Abu Dhabi social race they have pace. And I mean seriously, we know what Owen has done in last season's in that last social race. But he was having a lap of his life. He still finished 6th in qualifying. Had to retire due to sound glitch. Fixed it, Codemasters. But these two, who raced in Haas, Darius and Furkan, they were actually in a fight for the victory for a moment. Like, not due to luck, not due to rain. They actually had pace for it. Even though they still use ABS and they could turn it off to get into PCF1. Next, we've got a driver promoted from PCF3, the champion, Paul Hill, is going to race in a Ferrari, not in Alfa Romeo. So not only up a tier, but also up from in the academy. He's going to race alongside Patrick Maciejczak, who is a debut driver, who actually raced with as a teammate in last week's Maciej Yermakov's race. Maciej is a journalist about a Formula 1 in Poland. So I can tell you I got 6th or 4th, dependent if you count my penalty out. And Patrick also showed some decent pace, so I know he's got potential for something in this tier. Red Bulls have a driver who always retires or and rejoins mid-season, Rabih Melko, and also beloved Stewart of PCF1 last 2 seasons as far as I'm aware. And he will be racing alongside Adam Matusiak. He has turned off all assists. So basically, this is a strong team in Red Bull. Rabih has gone into line only, so so I believe this lineup will be strong enough to 3rd for the constructors. That could be cool. And we're having the Mercedes with the #1 fan, the man who is a video editor, the Discord babysitter, the commentator, the literally everything, but an administrator, Adam Lapich, also known as Adam Package or Zik, and his teammate, and I have to be careful yet again, Richard DeCant, and you know what I mean. He's a debut driver, very quick. He got here, well, actually he was one of the first in recruitment standings as far as I'm aware. I can actually check that because I have access to this. He finished 6th in the recruitment standings, excluding Ludwig as a late sign-up. He's 5th. First was Bode and 3rd was Imchas, by the way. So considering all of these potentials and Richard, yeah, I know this is controversial. Like, this is just his last name, so Sorry, Richard. I mean, you know. Anyway, speaking about this grid, who has the championship fight potential? And I'm saying Dino and McLaren's, maybe Paul here and there. That's the top 4 I'm betting on this season, because Dino can defend his title. Also, I can tell you why Dino is in PCF2, not in PCF1, because this will be a funny story. We'll get there with PCF1. Well, what's with Voyant Pronylon 66? I don't even know what you mean. But speaking about this grid, as always, stacked, quick, and competitive. And maybe Dino be outscoring everyone. We'll see. I'm not going to commentate that, but we have to mention something very, very important about this particular division. And the thing is that PCF2 is going to race not anymore on 4 PM UK, but on 7, because this is where actually every driver has voted they can race. We're going to race on Saturday 7 PM UK. If I told you if I told you that we'll race on Saturday at 4 PM UK, also sorry for these many language spelling errors, but if I told you we are going to race at 4 PM UK, I can already tell you, Hanson would be a reserve still, so not a big thing. But McKinty and Richard wouldn't race. They wouldn't be able to race. Same for Maciejczak. Rusnak would be a reserve. No, Shogun it is. It is Rabich. And, well, there would be a couple of drivers gone. So we have to race at 7 PM UK because everyone likes it. Yeah, I acknowledge them. This was intentionally made for you, Rabich. This is intentionally made for you. But this grid looks actually good. Also, I see the sun is setting, so if I left you for a second, that would be cool, I guess. And now, Wiener Schnitzel creme de la creme, the main dish or something like this. I don't know what you call that. You can tell me on the chat. PC F1 tier, which I will be able to commentate a couple of times. Not every time. Maybe I will swap with Dino. Maybe PSF1 will be more exciting for me. But speaking about this grid, Sundays 4 PM UK, as last season, 2 hours before PSF1. It also has a great grid that I can already spoil you. And you know what? I'm just going to show it. PC F1 has this many reserves, the only tier to have that. And I'm going to tell you a couple of fun facts. Well, as I said, I can commentate that, Dino can commentate that, Zik can commentate that, and also Dino doing commentary is not the reason why he is in PCF2. This is not the him commentating PCF1 is not the reason. I'm gonna tell you this. Dino is racing with line only, starting from this game's very beginning. So basically, he signed up as a line only driver, but he got only 2 reserves, which is already interesting. We asked him if he can race on Saturdays, and he at the first said no. I'm not going into details because I'm not breaking anyone's privacy unless asking for a photo. And a couple of days later, literally a day before confirming those grids, he said, well, you know what, I can race in PCF2. And he's going to race there again. So you can tell that it was not rigged, it was not for Dino to win the championship fight. I'm not the Croatia lover. It's still a cool country though, just underrated by me and my parents, but we're not going into details. Maybe let's just go to the PCF1 grid. So we've got 3 drivers with guaranteed seats on reserve. That's already interesting. But we'll maybe go with drivers who have already told who have qualified as a reserve. And these are Wojciech Crocs, who raced last season, 10th place. in last season's PCF1. Lucas Dirksen, with also decent results. I'm actually going to make my to actually show myself PCF1 standings. So Lucas Dirksen finished 15th with a singular podium in Baku. Wojciech has got 2 podiums, and these are both 3rd places in Britain and Belgium. 45 points in total, 11 because Michelin has got a race win. But he's still got 10. He can count because he's done more races or something like this. Marko Gurczyk coming back after season 7 as a break. He raced in season 6 with a couple of points results. And Quill Pawlakowicz, who finished 9th. And I can already discuss how Quill has not qualified despite being 9th. He has got no guaranteed seat because he missed it by 2 points. Because it happened to win a race in Belgium, which was the first 25% race in season 2. Because we had to restart our lobby due to desync. Now to the interesting stuff, and I mean very interesting. Nathan Powers, who finished 6th last season with 102 points, who got 3rd place in France and 2nd in Portugal, is going to race only as a reserve because he's decided to sweat the other leg. I mean, ER was better. What is he talking about? Anyway, he's racing as a reserve. He'll be racing no assists at all, without line as well. There's nothing like I race with no assist, ABS and line only. He's actually going to race with no assist, if he races. But the last 2 results are actually very interesting, and if any of these 2 race, we know what is going to be a 1-2 unless someone does a Hamilton Verstappen on Silverstone or Monza. These 2 names are Cameron Dawes and Drake Dempsey. Drake, who finished 2nd despite missing 4 last races or something like this. 3 races it was in season 6, where we were actually robbed from a title fight with Goyle. That would be so amazing, that season of depression. Not speaking about anything to the people with depression though, it was actually so, that season was actually so bad in terms of everything. But season 7, it was way better. Drake actually started 5 races from last place, and he only missed 1 victory. He raced 7 times, he won 6 times, and the only time he didn't win wasn't because of a DNF, someone crashing into him or something like this. He still finished 4th in France with no setup, which proves how quick he is. With no setup, I'm saying. Also, I can already see Burlini challenging Drake, and first stop spinning because you had a chance in Abu Dhabi first. I'm telling you. But speaking about full-time drive, we still haven't mentioned Cameron. Cameron, who joined season 6, not actually won a race. He won a race in Mexico on the last corner in season 6 on PlayStation. Then we have been robbed of a title fight yet again in season 7 because he was actually on a great course for winning, claiming it. Only 1 more race he would race and he would be fine. He still got around 250 points last season with a couple of races, race wins. And he's got actually a gap of around 50 points over Diogo Moraes before the Singapore Grand Prix. 57 to be exact. And he was actually having a great chance of winning the championship, but then decided to move on to PC. He will be racing as a PC this season though, on a PC. 3 last DNSs have cost him the championship because Diogo has won the last 3 races. He only missed on fastest laps though. Yeah, Nathan, Drake and Cameron can only do as a reserves. They have other leagues to sweat. They have other leagues to try hard and proudly represent ERO or something like this. I know they have their esports teams or something like this. I don't know whatever it's called. Love that Nemesis. Love that Paolo. Also, speaking of full-time drivers, because we actually have to move there. Antonio Oginski, the man who's got how many races in season 7 and PSF1 tier, because I can see more and more drivers moving to PC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he failed to score points in any of those. I hope he scores points this season because he has a potential. He even had a potential PlayStation to get around 7th or 8th place in the championship. But you know, Brazil, safety car, Grosjean. Portugal, 7th place after a great start, promoted by 10 places. Wall. And You know, I'm kind of speaking direct, but otherwise you wouldn't even pay attention to the stream. I have to speak controversial for a bit. And I'm speaking controversial. Ogiski can actually score points this season, regardless if for 10th or 1st. Antonio himself calls Mazepin of ERO on the chat, and somewhat I can agree. Well, I hope it isn't anymore. His teammate is going to be Fraser Robertson, who joined late into Season 7, and I can already tell you he scored, if I can find him by any chance of the standings. He scored 8 points in 5 races, 9th and 7th place Singapore Imola. So he's got first points on his way, he can get more this season. Simple as that. Alfa Romeo have another driver moving from PS, and his name is Yanni Ducrot. And Jai Duta, who is a debut driver and actually got famous already by an incident with Maciejczak on debut drivers race. How about Yanni and his performance? He scored 9 points, 1 point in Britain and 8 points in Saudi Arabia, where he actually got a decent result. I'll be honest with you. Others are DNFs. So he can show his potential. He was around 5th or something like this, excluding on the elite profile. Yeah, he was 2nd excluding guaranteed seats. Next we have Aditya Singh and Alfie Harvey. Aditya is a debut driver, and Alfie Harvey is promoted from PCF2, and he already says his goal. He's going to be PCF1 GoTiffy. I don't think so. GoTiffy had scored a couple of points last season, and he was ahead of Russell in Hungary. That's a bit of a decent performance. Aston Martins have Karol Sashim and Bartłomiej Leczulski. Karol Sashim has never raced, but he was signed up in Season 6. Unfortunately, unreported absences at the start of the season. Thanks for racing, if you did any. Bartłomiej Leczulski is a full debut driver. AlphaTauri have Luke Mills, who spoke loads of times on the chat that he could fight for more than a singular podium last season. He still got 44 points, but you know, first 6 races were adjusting to the wheel, so yeah, you have to get experience first in order to get faster. And he did, with a podium in Saudi Arabia. He aims for more, at least a top 8 next season. Also, I can already tell you that there will be top 4 from each platform only promoted for guaranteed seats for the next season, for Season 9, when Crossplay walks in. What I can already say that Jake and Cameron will race just enough races to get 3rd and 4th, and I will say that they will call it a day. I just know it. But I haven't mentioned about Luke Mills' teammate. He claimed he actually took Owen Hayden to Red Bull Academy, and he's going to race alongside him. Owen, who is known for fighting for the championship in PCF2, and you could see I smartly avoided speaking about that video about Abu Dhabi social race and his near qualifying lap, his near pole lap in qualifying, which is actually great. I mean, so fast and smooth and stuff. And that is that last corner. Maybe let's not mention that anymore. I mean, Owen is pretty fast, and you could already see why. If he just added some finishing into this, just finishing details. And continuing, because this AlphaTauri team looks strong. Paolo Burlini, Freddy Hirossi, teammates in Alpine. Paolo won twice in PCF3, then still got 8th place despite the DNFing on the last lap in China, promoted into PCF1, no points, bad luck, stuff happened. But he proved he's fast. Very fast. How about Ferdi Hirossi? He started in PCF2 last season, he was racing in PCF2 last season. He still got into top 8 as far as I'm aware. No, he even finished 3rd despite racing half the races, because he won Bahrain and Imola. And also 2nd places in Saudi and Singapore. So this is how Ferdi Hirossi went in PCF2, and he definitely showed potential to race for high things, for big things this season, when he also uses line only. Then we've got 2 line users in McLaren as well. First season were the favorite for the constructors is the reserve team, lol. Yeah, Cameron Drake, set up 11th team, please. But speaking about McLaren, Maciej Śmigowski, who is a debut driver but already pretty fast. He's got in pro category, I'm just gonna tell you, he's got first place excluding granted seats. First place excluding granted seats. So he is already a strong championship contender. He showed that in debut drivers race where he finished second. His teammate is going to be a Serman, Marko Djordjevic, who didn't sign up for Yaro in Season 7, but he still raced in the Italian Grand Prix the last race because I allowed it. And with Adam then said, okay. And this is how he raced. He unfortunately DNF'd due to collision with Jonathan Voss. They already said sorry, it's all clear from now on, but very interesting start for the career. And yes, Śmigowski has said he got a podium that journalist race. Maciejczak didn't, he got stuck in a carnage. Ferraris have both drivers who have guaranteed seats for the season. Arjan Bilbas and Jonathan Voss, who are very competitive. They proved that by claiming respectively 2nd and 4th. Jonathan's goal was to catch Jake Dempsey in Drivers' Championship, but he failed by 20 points. He's claiming he's going for that this season anyway. He also has an amazing record of 3 fastest laps, or actually scoring no points and having a fastest lap for 3 times in a row. These are Brazil, China, Austria. Well, that's some of an incredible record. Arjan Bilbas was in a contention for the championship in PCF1, but a couple of bad luck things happened here and there, and he at the end finished second. 52 points behind Tuka Rakola, who, as you can see, has not signed up for the season. And he has responsibilities bigger than racing virtually, unfortunately. Maybe we'll have some prize pool, maybe, in the future. Not guaranteeing anything, though. Speaking about Ferrari, it's all done, so maybe we'll go with Red Bull. And these are both are championship contenders by a lot. Because Tony, he's finished 5th last season, 7th in last season's PCF1, but he's got 2 victories, he's got a 2nd place in Spain. Well, he can go for it. He can go for the championship this season because he has full season at least this time. His teammate though is one of the fastest line users in the entire world, and you can see it on the Steam time trial leaderboards. Evan Curtin. He is this fast. He has actually finished 2nd, excluding granted seats, in pro category on trial race. But it was very close anyway. For example, I can tell you that Śmigowski has got 39 minutes and 52 seconds on Silverstone. Curtin has got 54 seconds, Ducro 53, Brulini 54, Mills 55, Dugai 55, Duta 54. So you can see this is very tight. And we may see big DRS trains next season in Euro. Maybe Curtin will lead them because he's definitely a championship material. Save for Mercedes. Jakob Mikkelsen and Tom Moyer, who's coming back after break in Season 7. Now he will be racing again in Season 8. Jakob Mikkelsen has got a guaranteed seat from Season 7. He can also be a championship contender, but he too frequently ends up in the wall, unfortunately. Well, you can clearly say what his policy accidentally is. And I know, I'm thinking controversial, just to keep your attention. But this was some kind of a thing going on, that Mikkelsen has a simple policy: victory or wall. And this also happened last season with 4 DNFs and a race win and a podium. But it was more frequent in Season 6, and I can tell you that it was more frequent by a lot. Because Jakob Mikkelsen, in that season where everything went bad, literally, he finished 11th in Drivers' Championship in PCF1. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 DNFs. Also include 3 podiums with a race win. So that was actually Mikkelsen's Season 6. Season 7 was a bit better because he at least got into top 8 and the guaranteed seat, so he didn't have to do trials. Then Mercedes team could win things if Mikkelsen yeah. That's what Luke Willis just said. So speaking about this grid, I would tell you as always, this grid is stacked, but I wanted to show you some more background with every driver's details and stuff. So I guess, yeah, you can stay for like 5 minutes, ask me questions about something, like literally, we can do a mini Q&A or something like so. Also subscribe to the channel if you're still here, because 979, we are very close to 1000. We may get it in PlayStation Trivial, because like half of the people who will race F4 and F5, they don't know that this channel exists yet. But still, very good grid. We can have Doubts and Dempsey hopping in a couple of times, getting 1-2s, ruining that championship fight between Rich and Curtin, because these two are actually the ones I predict. Actually, everyone can win a championship fight here. Because I can tell you, let me just do sort on the recruitments, not this, on this, not this. Again, the gap between first in recruitment Stanuku had to do trials, and last, Quill Pavlakovic. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, with Pavlakovic being last. The gap between first and 20th is 20 seconds. Just saying, 20 seconds. And between first and third, fifth, eighth is 3 seconds. Not even this, it's 2.5. So you can see how close this is. You can see what kind of a championship fight can happen in PCF1 this season. Because if we have 8 drivers separated by 2.5 seconds, we can see something like 1917 or 69 Italian Grand Prix in real F1, where 5 drivers finished within a second. Or you can, or for the more modern version, you can just check Season 3 F1 Italian Grand Prix in ERO, where we had F4 white for the second place. This is what we could see a couple of times this season. Yes, Śmigowski, you as well. I'm literally telling about you. But as said, everyone can get the championship here, except for drivers who don't believe they can do it. For example, Alfie Harvey, who's already said he's going to be a Latifi of this year. But we'll see. There is loads of potential in this tier. There is a lot of potential for racing. Either me or Dino commentating. Sundays 4 PM. We're starting 28th August. It is 28th August. And Silverstone, the best track for racing, apart from Monza. Through will go Mikkelsen or something like this. We'll see. Definitely, we're going to see some tensions. And if all of these drivers could send me on PMs their selfies, apparently, because I'll tell you something about it, it would be fine. I know I have some already. But speaking about faces thing, as you know, I'm doing social media more active this season. And I hope I'll find a helper for that. Like, so I would have to post less. But this grid, well, they definitely need to get some social media attention. With how quick they are and stuff. And I hope we'll have around 50 viewers on it, on the season opener. So, well, making social media more active means we have to do something with it. Some bit of a role play. I know from other leagues, you know which league, most of you. Just to make it more alive, get 1000 subscribers on YouTube, get more followers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or something like this. There's loads of potential in this league, there's loads of potential in this tier. And we need to use that on the best way possible. With these reserves, yes Mateo, you guessed it first try. But speaking about this, well, we are in the brink or something like this. We are in the brink of the best season of ERO's history. And I hope this will happen. I know you also hope for it, that we'll have the best season ever, with finally social media activity, attention from loads of things, and from all of medias, and fair racing, and little buns, because this is what was a disaster last 3 seasons. But for now, that's all about this tier, I guess. So, where myself, and this is also the very important question. Well, as you know, this is actually the last thing I'm speaking about. On the first 6 seasons of my career on F2 tier on PlayStation, I actually raced on PlayStation. I got 2 race wins, couple of podiums, loads of points results. Went to tiers race, just in a second, I just have to finish my own part. But speaking about myself, well, I just said a moment ago, I hope for the best ERO season. I hope this will be finally the season where we get attention from everything, and we get famous and stuff, and we get known. We actually are known. But, you know, best league ever and stuff. New season, same was, says Jakob. But speaking, I said all about this best season hopes. And I hope you will not disappoint me as well. And I will not disappoint myself. And everyone will not disappoint everyone. We have high expectations for that one. And coming back to my own, as said, 2 race wins, couple of podiums here and there. And, well, I have decided to retire from ERO racing. Maybe, and this is a very big maybe, if there's, for example, 15 drivers, I hope that, I know this will not happen this season. There will be full grids every time, I tell you now. And PCF1 and PSF1 at least. Which a league will have no assists. At all. But speaking about myself, I retired. Maybe I will be a reserve twice or 3 times in PCF1. But that's all about. I retired as a proper driver. An ERO. Maybe I race in one other league that Mateo has already mentioned. But this is all about playoffs and pre-playoffs. This retirement announcement hurts more than Seb. But, you know, time is a one-way street. And I want to go with the times. Or something like this. I want to have new challenges. We have to develop this project. It just cannot be me racing with you. If this has to be famous and I have to retire from racing, this has to happen. And that's all about my retirement. I still may race as a reserve. If needed. If like necessary. Because I'm an owner, I can do everything. But for now, that's all about PC grid reveal. Next week we're having a PlayStation grid reveal, which also is very spicy, with 5 tiers. I've decided that 5 tiers, we aim for 6, but we run the late sign-ups, and I can tell you how many people signed up. 2. Literally 2 people signed up. There's one coming back driver though. And not yet goodbye, we still have a minute or 2. But all I can say, great grid, great grids, great expectations, and I hope great season. Same for you. Also remember to subscribe and like, because my goal was to get that 1000 subscribers with this stream. It's 979. Get yourself something and subscribe to the channel. It's literally just 1 click. But for now, on a real note, we'll see each other on a week's time. No crossplay this season, it will be in the next one. And I hope for active social media though. So now, thank you for watching. And we'll see you next week. I know I speak this like 1000 times, I always do that. Forgive me. Bye bye!